What up, Poppin' T fam? It's your host, Poppin' T. As usual, Poppin' T. I got the extended clip with me today. The big giant. Poppy, here we are, man. After another Ravens dub.
Another win.
4-0.
Another win.
It's great to talk about football when you're winning.
I know.
30-23 dub in the city of Baltimore. Commanders coming less than 30 miles down the road up for the game. Poppy, what are your initial reactions after the dub?
Like you said, it's great to win any Sunday, but this one felt a little bit different. Just, battle of the DMV, battle of the Beltway, two excellent pocket passers, dual threats, like young Heisman-winning quarterbacks going head-to-head. And this game was really hyped up, and just to see us come out, no heart attack this time, just took care of business. It was good to see, and it was a great Sunday because of it.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice to win. So nice to win. So easy to do these episodes when you win. The offense showed me something, man. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Guys are clicking. They're moving the ball. They're efficient with the ball. So I'm happy to be here sitting at 4-2 after 0-2. People thought the season were on the line if we lost in Dallas, but the guys have come back and been resilient on this tough 4-game stretch. And so on to Tampa Bay, which takes us into our teaser today. Monday Night Football in Tampa Bay. Here we are. Poppy, what are your thoughts on the game still going down there in Tampa Bay?
I mean, it's definitely a good sign. I think a lot of people were assuming that was going to get changed just because of how devastating those two storms have been down there, but it's good. It's a good sign for us and for the people down there. If they're still able to have sports events, then hopefully the damage isn't quite as bad as people were predicting early on. So prayers up to everyone down there, and we'll be looking forward to Monday night.
Yeah, I can't wait. So going back to last Sunday, home in Baltimore, like I said, the Ravens got the dub 30-23. Offense looked great. Defense came up with stops when need be. Lamar Jackson, let's start with the main attraction. 20 for 26, 323 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ended up taking 2 sacks. What did you see from Lamar on Sunday's game?
I mean, it was just another Lamar dialed-in performance this Sunday. It seemed like he was just able to pick apart that Commander's secondary, which I had a feeling was going to happen going into this one, but there really wasn't any setbacks besides that first drive of the game. Ball hits off Mark Andrews' hands, flies up in the air into Mike Sainristil's waiting arms. I was a little bit nervous at first, but the way we were able to just move down the field so easily on that drive, and the fact that was a fluky mistake, not a just Lamar boneheaded pick, like, I wasn't really worried even after that happened. I would place more of the blame on Mark. I think it was a little bit of an overthrow, along with a catch that Mark probably should have made, but I mean, besides that, he was almost perfect on the day. So, shout out Lamar. He has the big scramble on the day, which I thought he could have gotten even more on that big run that he had. It looked like he was like waiting to slide and then realized he had more space and then hit the afterburners and took off. So, I think he could have had even more there, but I mean, Lamar was almost perfect on the day yet again.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It hurts me when he threw that interception because he could have been the first quarterback in Ravens history. I think it was like through the first 6 games to throw 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Like that had never been done before. So seeing that ball hit off Mark's hands, who's a guy who normally brings those balls in, hurt just a little bit. But it was nice to see that performance from Lamar. Very, very accurate from the pocket. Was kind of doing what he wanted, like you said, to that secondary. Beautiful ball placement. Was getting balls there on time. And he just looked comfortable back there, man. He looks like a true pocket passer. He's connecting with his guys. Him and Bateman's chemistry is starting to build. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the offense. Like I said earlier, I'm enjoying this, and I'm just enjoying seeing Lamar develop into the quarterback that he has so far in his career.
It's almost like last year we wanted to commit to the pro-style offense a little bit too hard, and now we just have this complementary offense of where you can hand the ball off 24 times to King Henry, gain 134 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. But Lamar had last year developed into a premier pocket passer as well. So it's like, how do you realistically beat this team right now?
Yeah.
It always felt like, all right, force Lamar to pass. Okay, force Lamar to pass now. I dare you. Force Lamar to pass.
Yeah,
It's just like...
They can beat you from anywhere.
It's a beautiful offense to watch because it's just big chunks of yards over and over again, no matter where we choose to take it, on the ground or through the air. So
like it's crazy.
It's really beautiful to watch.
You can get big plays from 8, 22. You can get big plays from 4, 80, 89, 7. Like all of these weapons, Justice Hill, 43. Like you get big plays from everybody on this offense, and it's nice to see every week it being somebody else who decides, hey, I'm going to step up this week. Derrick Henry's obviously showed up every week, Lamar too, but like seeing the receiving threats, like deciding who's going to have a big game, and it's just so nice to see, man. I've said this before. I don't see this team losing another game if they continue to play like this. I don't think there's anybody. Obviously, that secondary, we'll get to that later, has a little cleanup to do. But offensively, I don't think this offense is really stoppable right now.
Yeah, speaking of those receivers, 3 guys had really big days. Zay goes 9 targets, 9 receptions, 132 yards, his career high. Bate has 4 catches for 71 yards. Seemed like he was always there when we needed him this week. And Mark Andrews has 4 targets, 3 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown, which you love to see out of the man that started his season a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta say, I thought there was a point in this game where Benjamin St. Juste was going to start crying. I'm not kidding. Like... in the end zone, when he got that PI and they like zoomed in on his face, I thought he was gonna start crying. Like they were just having their way with him all day long.
All game.
It was tough to watch, man. Like the amount of separation that 7 and 4 created this week. That's what I've been waiting to see, like, forever. Like, those 2 were drafted with that in mind, separation. Like, they might not be big alpha, dominant wide receivers. They're not DK Metcalf. They're not Michael Pittman. They're not Mike Evans. But they're separators. And they had 3 steps on corners yesterday, all day long.
And when they didn't, Lamar was putting it only where they could get it, like... chemistry is looking great, but like you said, those 3 guys had a big day. I was kind of disappointed with Zay just because of the fact that like he had those 9 receptions at halftime. Like I thought like he was about to go for it all. Like I thought he was about to go for 200, like 15 receptions. Like I just thought they were going to keep feeding him. But obviously, I'm still happy about the 9 for 132. But I thought they were going to try to break some records and really put Zay's name on the map. But
I thought so too.
Obviously, the game just didn't go like that. But I really was looking for that. But like you said about them being separators, like statistically, they're 2 of the best in the league. specifically this year. Rashad Bateman's always been kind of underrated in that aspect. Like he didn't always produce, but like when you always saw the graphics, like he was one of the best separators in the league. And last week he averaged 5 yards per reception of separation. I haven't seen the number yet this week from Next Gen Stats, but that's what he did the week before, and like he truly is great at doing that. And Big Mark Andrews, Big 89, he tied Todd Heap 41 touchdowns for the most, 41 receiving touchdowns, which is tied for most in Ravens history. So congratulations to him, and can't wait to see him break the record.
Yep. Big 8-9, Money Mark. I love that dude, man, and it's so encouraging to see him be involved back in the offense, because obviously I like what Likely can do after the catch. I like the way his athleticism, and I like Kolar as a big blocker, as a sneaky third tight end. But Mark is, when he's on, he's the best receiving weapon in this offense. Like,
Yeah.
you can try and debate that this year because he hasn't shown up quite as much this year, but I think that's less so to do with Mark as a talent and more so to do with the fact that we do have 3 capable tight ends. We do have 3 to 4 capable wide receivers. We do have 2 capable backs, and a dual threat quarterback that can run it on his own.
Yeah.
So if Mark can continue to heat up, and just be that guy that can box out, go up, catch the football, be there as a reliable third down target, tell me, where does this offense stop?
Honestly, I don't even need all that from him. I just need him to be that consistent third down option. All the rest of the things you said, I'm cool with everybody else doing it at this point, the way everybody else has been playing. I'm cool with Likely being the guy to stretch the field. I'm cool with Zay getting underneath stuff and jet sweeps, and Mark being more of a blocking tight end and not really being involved because there's just so many threats. Keep the defense honest and just be there when we need you in those crucial plays that you've been doing for so long in your career. But I'm so in love with all of these weapons how they're playing right now. It's not Devontae Adams. We got Devontae Adams at home. We got Nelson Aguilar, but they've been playing like a group. They've been playing together. It's looking like the sky's the limit for the offense, at least. Got to talk about this defense.
Yeah. Well, one more thing I want to talk about on the offense. Voorhees comes back healthy this week, but John elects to keep Macari at left guard, and the offensive line dominated yet again. How do you like John's decision to keep the O-line the way it was instead of putting Voorhees back in at left guard, moving things back around?
To me, I don't really mind who's at left guard as long as the rest of the O-line is how it is. Macari or Voorhees, I don't think it makes much of a difference who's at left guard. But I think that right combo of Falele and Rosengarten is really starting to click, and I don't want Macari to go back over there and mess that up. So yeah, I'm cool with either way. That offensive line was balling with Voorhees, or was starting to ball with Voorhees and continued to ball with Macari at left guard. So who's ever getting it done, man, it's cool. Plays with me. You feeling any type of way?
They're starting to play they're starting to ignite my trust in them. I wanted to be we're just running the football a lot, so they're not getting exposed as much. But, I mean, Lamar had 26 dropbacks this week, and it didn't ever feel like he was under immense pressure. So,
yeah.
And they're obviously clearing the way for Derrick Henry. I can't tell you how many times, when I see Lamar toss it and see 79 and 42 heading down towards defenders, it's all right, this is going for 10 yards.
Every time.
Those two are just creating those impact blocks and just clearing the way every single time for Henry. We should be running that way every single time.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's no point of running the ball to the other side. It feels like, There was one I just remember D. Henry missing where he kind of cut inside McCarry and didn't follow him. But it's just like, yo, if you follow 79 and 42, like, you'll find the answer. He ended up doing that in the fourth quarter and sealed the game.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because of Henry that Ricard looks like the best version of Ricard I've seen, but dude, he's like popping off the screen with how well he's blocking right now.
Yeah, it's just because it's like, obviously, like you said, D. Henry's making his job easier. And then guys that also have to respect Lamar. So you run Lamar one way, D. Henry and Patrick Carr. The other guys got to hesitate. You can't come downhill full speed. And at that time, Patrick Carr is already going. Derrick Henry's going behind him. So it's just not a good situation, good scenario for defenders.
Well, you started to talk about the defense before I brought up the offensive line. What were your thoughts on the defense this game?
I wasn't upset with it, but obviously, I feel like that pass defense still got some stuff to work on. Jaden Daniels went 24 of 35, 269, and 2 touchdowns. I feel like Noah Brown had a day.
Yeah,
4 for 58.
he was making
Zach
plays.
Ertz, 4 for 68. Terry McLaurin, 6 for 53. Austin Eckler, 4 for 47. Like, he was kind of spreading it around pretty easily. Everybody had a pretty decent day. And like you said, Noah Brown was making plays. That 15-yard PI on Nate Wiggins, him holding the jersey, like, Noah Brown was kind of just like, was stepping up when need be. And even still being able to play back through that ball with Nate Wiggins holding on to him was crazy to me, even though he didn't come down with it. But yeah, I'm still worried about that secondary, even though they only allowed 23 points. I don't know. It just seems like they haven't got it together yet.
Yeah, I think that red zone defense was very good this week. There was that key stop where they had to take 3, even though they were on the 1. I feel like Nate's definitely getting better, and Nate has been someone who's been popping off the screen to me. Obviously, he has that PI this week, but it seems like he's always around the football. And if he's not making plays, he's close to making plays. And for him to be game 6, really 3 games deep into really like getting significant play time, like, I'm very, very excited about Nate Wiggins. Very, very excited about Nate Wiggins. I still think B. Steve is just struggling, man.
Yeah, he is.
He's just struggling. He had that one big play on Terry where they tried to stretch the field with Terry, and he shut it down. That was a nice play from Stevens, but I just feel like he's just getting bad matchups and getting exposed.
Yeah. I guess that's football though. Like, somebody's going to get picked on, regardless of how good the group is. There's obviously one that's going to be worse than the others, and I guess offenses feel like not Nate Wiggins, Brandon Stevens is that one. But like, it's just like you said, he shows flashes. They all show flashes. They all have their great plays here and there. Marlon Humphrey having that interception last week against Joe Burrow, like they show here and there that, like, yo, we can ball, we can play, but it's too inconsistent. And I think that will be the key to us winning Super Bowl, because the run defense has been great all season. Offense has looked great.
Shut down.
It's just that pass defense. That's that last component. We get that tightened up, get that locked in.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Let's talk about that front 7, especially in regards to that run defense. They had Jaden Daniels in a box. I think he only had 6 rushes for 22 yards on the day.
Yeah.
This is a quarterback that I think was second behind Lamar in rushing yards. The rush lanes weren't available. And for all 3 of our defensive tackles to be involved in sacks on the day, it's just Travis Jones, Nnamdi Madubuike, and Michael Pierce, they just clog everything up. And then when you have Roquan and Kyle behind that to clean up, it's impossible to move the ball on them right now.
Yeah. Travis Jones has really appeared and stepped on the scene.
Yeah,
He's really evolved this
he's
year
legit.
as a run stopper, as a pass rusher, as a lane clogger. Michael Pierce has always been good at that, eating up double teams, staying in his gap. And obviously, Matabike is so explosive out of his stance that people can't block him 1-on-1. And Travis Jones is kind of looking like that mix in the middle. Like, I'm not saying Matabike is strong, but Travis Jones is playing with that strength and raw power of a Michael Pierce. And he's also has displayed the quickness of Matabike. So I'm very excited to see what he's done so far. We had held Austin Eckler to nine carries for 21 yards. Obviously, he's a shell of his former self at this point in his career, but hold the number one running back at 21 yards is absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, they were down, they were in passing situations, but shout out to that D line. Yannick Ngakoue got a sack.
Yeah,
And have been very excited about that signing so far. Talk to me. How do you feel about that signing?
it's just so weird. Like, how can these players come to Baltimore and just all of a sudden be good? Like Clowney, Yannick, Justin Houston, Kyle Van Noy, like all these players come to our edge room and just are impact players.
Yeah.
And then you can't get a guy like Ojabo going, and it's like, all right, what's going on here?
Yeah, Yannick in 2 games so far, 4 pressures, 2 hurries, 1 sack, and 1 hit.
Yeah.
Crazy
And
resurgence.
this is a
from
dude
him.
that didn't play in this scheme. He was there with Wink, not Mike McDonald. So he's picking up the scheme on the fly and playing like this. It's like, all right, he might start taking snaps from Dafe, honestly.
Just told that boy go out there and go get it.
Yeah.
After scheme, just go get the quarterback.
But that front seven is crazy, man. One player I really haven't seen much impact from is Trenton Simpson so far. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I feel like I've seen him on tackles, but I say less of. I haven't seen him getting exposed, which I'm happy about. Like it would be more of a worry if I could remember those big plays of him getting bombed on or exposed in the hole, but I can't really remember him. He was 4th in the team in tackles with 4. There were a lot of guys tied for 4. But to my knowledge, he's been around on tackles. He's made some plays. Do you feel a different way about Trent Simpson, or are you kind of worried about his development so far?
I'm not worried about it. I just feel like I was expecting him to, like you said, be someone who gets exposed a little bit, but also has. I mean, we saw he was a very good blitzer in his rookie season. And his I expect his athleticism to pop a little bit more than it has, especially in blitzing. But I mean, I'm not complaining. Like you said, like if he's not getting exposed, that's a good thing. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that most of those linebacker snaps are going to Kyle and Roquan anyways. So
Yeah, I would say Eddie Jackson or Darius have been getting a lot of snaps.
yeah,
So they've been going a little thinner in personnel,
as long as he's not getting cooked, I'm chilling.
honestly.
Was anyone else you wanted to talk about in this game?
I honestly kind of realized that like we just kind of skipped over Derrick Henry. Like I don't know how we did that, but we just completely skipped over the run game for some reason. So let's give King Henry some love. Did it again. 24 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. John Harbaugh said Derrick Henry's not going to be a back to get 25, 30 carries, and he was correct. He got 24. What did you see from King Henry in Sunday's dub?
This wasn't one where he popped off with any crazy long runs, but every run that he had, it felt like one was going for 5. One, it was going for 5, and then he was pushing for an extra 3 every single run as well. Like, there wasn't any like major stuffs all day that I can really remember. So if you can just churn out those extra yards to make it second and short every single time, and then Lamar can dial up some play action and really toss it down the field. Like, I remember to start a drive, it was like hand off to Henry, picked up 6, I think, and then just beautiful play action play, and he tosses it straight down the middle of the field, like 20 yards to bait. I'm like, this is such a powerful offense with Derrick Henry.
Complimentary football.
Sucking everyone down. Pause.
I would say 8.
But
jeez, man.
I don't know. How do you feel?
Lost my train of thought after that. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Henry. He is the king. He leads the league in carries. He leads the league in yards, and he leads the league in touchdowns. I smile when I think about this.
Dude's on pace for 1,900 yards and 23 touchdowns.
And they said he couldn't do it anymore. He's 30 years old. He's old. Didn't have it in him.
Can you imagine if he reaches that?
That would be insane. The Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, because I don't know. Nico was who I thought was going to win it for the first couple weeks. And then obviously he has that tough injury, goes on IR. I don't know if there's any other players on offense
I would say
separating themselves like Henry.
His other threat, his main threat every year hasn't played so far, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, he's like the front runner. Unless something goes tragically wrong.
Can't produce right now.
Like, what? Yeah, it is. I don't think Tua will be back in time to save Tyreek's season. So, like, it's looking like D. Henry right now, which would be amazing. If we could somehow... Imagine if we brought home the MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year, and the Super Bowl in one season. That would be...
I know.
The
first two don't even matter.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Unless we get that ring. But, like you said, it's like, how do we lose a game when we play ball like this?
I don't see how.
Like, us in our current form against the Chiefs in their current form, I don't think it's close.
Run Derrick Henry 20-plus times a game, and you would be successful.
Yeah. Well, that covers King Henry. Should we talk about the Bucs a little bit?
Hey, let's get into it. Monday Night Football.
How are you feeling ahead of this? This is a sneaky competitive game. This was one going into the season that you think is kind of going to be an easy dub, but
the
Bucs are looking like a really competitive football team right now.
To me, I think we get the dub. I think it's a dog fight. Just as any other primetime game, Sunday game feels like it's going to be for the Ravens. It's one of those just like, the Ravens, they should go out and dominate, but then they always like to hang in games, except for that Buffalo game, obviously. But they just like to keep teams around, and I think it's going to be because of that passing defense. I think the Ravens offense will do what it needs to do, but Chris Godwin is going to go for 100, like no doubt in my mind. Mike Evans is going probably for 60, 70 and a touchdown. Baker's going to have a field day with that secondary. Obviously, we'll get home. I think we'll have about 3 sacks, but they're just going to throw all over us. And it's going to end up keeping it a game. But like I said, I think we get a dub. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, I want to say like 31-23. Maybe something in that range.
Yeah. Yeah, I expect this one to be pretty close as well, just because Baker's firing right now, and I feel like we haven't seen that secondary really clamp anyone yet. Their run game doesn't really scare me at all, but they have multiple weapons on this team that they can throw to,
I would say
and they're
Sean
doing a
Tucker
good job
started
of
last
protecting
week.
Baker. Yeah, Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving. But I think that if we can get the matchups right, and I'd like to see Marlowe on Mike a lot, and I'd like to see Nate on Chris Godwin.
That's a tall task.
I'm sure we'll see a lot of B. Steve on both of those guys.
Yeah.
But their defense doesn't really scare me that much. They're kind of sturdy in the middle of their defense, and we saw that wasn't an issue, especially with how much outside running we've been doing recently. Vita Vea, Levante David, and Antoine Winfield are probably their best 3 defensive players, and for them all to be in the middle of their defense, it's reassuring that Henry should still be able to have a big day against this group. I mean, I don't even know if I can name any of their defensive ends. Yaya Diaby, Joe Tryon, Shoyinka, like, those dudes do not put fear into my heart at all.
And, Lamar Jackson is 22-1 against the NFC. So to me, I've kind of already checked this off as a dub. It may not be pretty, but like I'm not really worried.
Yeah. Any parlays? Any player props you want to
Chris Godwin
put down?
6+ receptions. Mike Evans anytime touchdown score. Derrick Henry is also a lot, but we know that.
Yeah, I guess I do Derrick Henry for his 1 touchdown, and then Baker on over 250 pass yards, probably.
That sounds about right. So we got Derrick Henry.
We're all predicting that they're gonna just pass all over us.
I mean, what evidence do we have to support that they're not?
I know.
Like, when there's no evidence. My bad. There's one game, the Bills. I'm sorry. But besides that, nah. So we got Derrick Henry anytime touchdown score, Mike Evans anytime touchdown score, Chris Godwin 5+ receptions, and Baker Mayfield 250+ passing yards.
Yeah.
Let's lock it in.
Easy.
Let's lock it in.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about ahead of this game?
Honestly, I'm just ready to go out there, sit in front of my TV, and get this dub. Run all over these guys.
Monday night, folks.
Punch them in the mouth. That's all I can ask for.
Let's go win a ball game.
Sir, go Ravens.
Go Ravens.